Hi everyone, I'm Lauren, and today I'm doing a December TBR video. I'm doing things a little bit differently today, or for next month, and I have a little bit of a mini game type thing. But before I get into that, I want to talk about the books that I was supposed to read for last month, or I guess November, and the books that I really need to read for December kind of thing. So first off, I attempted the A to Z reading challenge in November, and it went okay, I guess. I read all of these, like 13 or something books. Plus I read The Unadulterated Cat by Terry Pratchett and Exhalation by, I think it's Chen Liu, I think. But I also needed to read all of these to complete the challenge. So there's only a few days left in November, and I won't be able to read all these. Oh yeah, plus Ascendance of a Bookworm, Part 3, Volume 2. So yeah, there's no way I'm gonna get to all of those before the end of November, so that's how it goes, whatever. I tried. I think I might be able to finish these two, Network Effect, because I'm partway through, and Hexed, because it's kind of short. I might also be able to finish Ascendance of a Bookworm, but we'll see. Either way, I'm not gonna do any sort of like, I have to read all of those for December or whatever. This was a challenge that I wasn't sure I was gonna do, so yeah, it was just more for fun. But I do want to try and fit some of those in sooner rather than later, just because I don't really like saying that I'm going to read something and then I don't. The only one I probably won't be reading for a while is Katana Katari Volume 1 by Nisio Isin, just because it's the beginning of a new series and I have a lot of series I'm in the middle of. If you've seen my series video, I'll link to that. As far as some other books that I really want to get to in December, I am a little bit behind the r/fantasy book bingo. I'll put a link to that, what I plan to read originally for that somewhere. And so I need to try and fit the books in the months to read. I think I need to fit around 3 or 4 fantasy book bingo books each month if I want to complete the whole board on time. So I'm going to be trying to fit those in as much as possible. And the other thing is I have a TBR Mini-Game, I guess. I would hesitate to call it a full-fledged game because it's just, I have a little jar with various prompts inside and I'm going to randomly pick a few. I'm going to try 10. So I'm going to be trying to fit the fantasy book bingo ones into those prompts, and yeah, we'll see. Yeah, there's not really a punishment thing for this, and I'm going to attempt to turn this eventually into a digital version, but that will take a little while, I think. Oh yeah, and the other thing is I'm also planning on participating in the Mary Bookmas Readathon, so I'll be trying to pick some books that are a little harder for me to naturally get into those prompts, but I won't be going over those prompts right now. This video is already going to be maybe a little long, so I'm going to do that in a separate video. Anyway, let's just get on to the random prompts. Sorry if you might not be able to read them, but I'll try to see if I can get them on camera. I wrote it in pencil. Anyway, let's go with prompt number 1. Okay, let's go with, oops, I dropped it. Let's go with this one. This one is can you not read that at all? This is a non-fiction. Fortunately for my r/fantasy book bingo, there's no non-fiction because it's all fantasy, sci-fi, and speculative fiction. And for the Mary Bookmas, there isn't really anything for non-fiction, so that's unfortunate. But a book that I didn't get to read for my A to Z Readathon that is a nonfiction is The Falcon Thief by Joshua Hammer. This is about people that steal falcons and falcon eggs, I believe, and like the black market of that. I read a preview of it and it seemed kind of interesting, so yeah, this is a pretty new nonfiction as well. It came out 2020. So yeah, I'll be reading that for the nonfiction prompt. Prompt number 2. I don't know where to do this. Alright, let's do this one. I'm pretty terrible at cutting these out, so these are all weird sizes, so sorry about that. Oh, this is a weird one. This is Jane Mustish, 1,000 Books to Read Before You Die. I don't think you can read that. I'm sorry. So I really like these kind of lists that's like, you should read these. Because I don't know, I think they're kind of interesting. This one, just some guy has a bunch of books that he thinks you should read. So I need to look up what is actually on that list because there's 1,000 books on there and I don't remember all of them. So I'm gonna pause this for a sec while I look it up, and then I'll start it up again when I figure out something that's on my TBR, hopefully, and I can read. Okay, so that took a while to get through. I mean, it is 1,000 books, and that might not be a good list for my general taste. I don't know. I might consider removing that prompt, but on the list there was some books that I had, and I did come across Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, and I have been wanting to read this, and it's on the list. So sure, let's get to it in December. I don't know how difficult of a read this will be. I've only read a little bit, but I DNF'd it because I was listening it on audiobook, and I think audiobook is too difficult for me, at least by itself. So I'm gonna try and just read it this time. Romancy, witty, Austen-y snark from what I remember. That's what I like about what I remember from this. So yeah. So now we'll do prompt number 3. This one. So this one, wow, if I don't drop it. Oh, this is collection/anthology. I don't think you can read that, but I tried. These are not very good for my my r/fantasy book bingo so far. Let's see. So I don't really have too many anthologies and collections that I can read right now. So that's maybe not a great prompt for right now. Whatever. But I do have Heroes Wanted, a fantasy anthology, which is by a bunch of different authors. So I guess I will read that one. Don't have too many choices with that. Let me take this off. This is warm. Alright, prompt number 4. Okay, this one. Yay. Well, this one could be nasty. This is finish a series or catch up. Well, maybe you can read that, maybe not. So that one can be a nasty one if all of my series are multiple books, but like more than 2 or whatever, that could be nasty. But I do have a few series that I only need 1 book to catch up, and one of them is for my book bingo, so that's perfect. So I'm gonna go with that. And that is Spit and Song by Travis M. Riddle. This is the newest book in the Bastilian or Ursulian, or I don't know what a Astilian Tale series. I don't know how many books are supposed to be out or are supposed to be total, but right now there's only 2, and this is the second one, so I just need to read this and I'll catch up. So yay, that's number 4. So prompt number 5. Let's see, let's do this one. Oh, self-published. Well then, that would have worked for that. I don't have too many self-published books either. There was one that I was sort of planning on reading for the A to Z Readathon that I think counts as self-published, so I think I'm gonna go with that. It is pretty beefy, but since I'm not trying to read 26 books in December, I think it should be fine. And that is Japan Soft and Oral History. It doesn't have the author on the front, so I don't remember who it's by. It says edited by Alex Wiltshire, though, in the side. And this is a bunch of interviews with Japanese video game developers with some really big companies, and could be interesting. This is published through like a Kickstarter-esque service, so I think that counts as a self-published because they're publishing it not through a traditional publisher. So I'm gonna count that as a self-published, I think. And so yeah, that's book number, what are we on? That's book number 5. This is not looking good for my fantasy bingo, and it's not really looking great for my Bookmas prompts. So let's hope I get stuff coming up. So number 6. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's take that one that flew out. Don't know if you saw that. That one flew out. So new release. Where is that? There we go. So let's see. What are my new releases? I have 2 new releases that I do need to read for the r/fantasy book bingo that aren't already on there. Spit and Song is also a new release, but I could read The Ministry for the Future by Kim Stanley Robinson or Star Daughter by Shveta Tharkar. But Star Daughter fits for one of the Bookmas prompts, so I think I'll go with this one just to make sure that it gets on there. I don't know too much about this, but it's something to do with the main character is part celestial star, and she's trying to hide that, but something happens, I think, to her father or something, and she has to go up to the celestial realm or something and kick some butt, maybe. I don't know. Like, do something to help. It could be good. It's nice and shiny. So, yeah. So now I have 2 for my r/fantasy book bingo. I'd prefer to get 1 or 2 more on there. That is book number 6. So, prompt number 7. This one. No, historical fiction. So, I don't know if you can see that. So this doesn't have to be a straight up historical fiction, so that's fine, because there is just one book on my r/fantasy book bingo that I want to read that is a historical fantasy fiction, and that is A Natural History of Dragons by, where is it? Mary Brennan. This is about a woman who is a dragon naturalist. That's what that is. And I think it goes over how she became a dragon naturalist and how she kind of paved the way for women to be able to be dragon naturalists. And it's supposed to be like a memoir, but obviously it's fiction. But yeah, it sounds really interesting, and I do need to read it for my fantasy book bingo. So, and now I have 3 at least, so yay, that's good. Now for prompt number 8. This one. This is a mystery. I actually don't have too many mysteries. I've been wanting to read more mystery and like thriller and stuff. So, but I don't have too many choices right now. None of the ones that I was going to read for the A to Z were mystery. So let me just take a look at what I have. Yeah, I think the only one I have really right now are a few Christies, Agatha Christie. So I'll just read the next one I have to read, and that is The Murder on the Links by Agatha Christie. This is the second Poirot book, and murder in the golf course. I think that's what it's supposed to be about. I don't know too much else about this, because I mean, it's not really much point going too in depth. I sort of know the basic premise of Poirot, and that's all I need. So this is a very not fantasy TBR. It's very strange for me. Anyway, 2, 4, 6, 8. The second last prompt, number 9. And this one has a movie or TV adaptation. Don't think you could have read that one either. So none of the book bingo ones I have those. However, one of the ones I was going to read for my A to Z readathon does have a TV adaptation, and that is That Time I Got Reincarnated by a Slime, Volume 2 by Fuse. And I figured out that's how you pronounce his name. This is a series about this guy who dies and is reborn in another world as a slime. And it turns out he's pretty overpowered, and he eventually gets a big following of people and shenanigans. It's a pretty light novel series, not too deep, but I do like it so far. So yeah, I get to read the second volume. I really like I think the anime was fine, but I think this will be better than the anime, honestly. And then we're down to the final prompt. This will be very interesting for my Bookmas thing. I think I might have to add a bunch to that, but well. Alright, last prompt. Oh. Okay. And that is a light novel. I've read all of the light novels I really need to read for my book bingo. No, actually there's one. So I could read, what's it called? It's called Masho no Ko by Fuyumi Ono. That one I need for my book bingo. But I think I'm going to read Ascendance of a Bookworm Part 3 Volume 2 by Mia Kazuki, just because there's another volume coming out in January, and so I want to be ready to read that right away. And I really do like the series, so if I have time I'll also read Masho no Ko as well, but because light novels are pretty light, so I'm sure I could maybe fit, I don't know. Okay, so that's all 10 prompts. So let me just see if I can hold all those. So these are all the books that I have for my December TBR, plus Ascendance of a Bookworm Part 3 Volume 2, and the fantasy anthology one, which I can't remember the name because it's a pretty generic title. So all these books, plus whatever I need to add in for my Bookmas TBR, but I'll be doing that in a separate video just so it's nice and tidy, I guess. This is probably a long video anyway. It's a very interesting TBR for me. It's a mix. I guess it's still mostly fantasy, but it's still some other things. So that's nice. That's kind of why I wanted to do this prompty type thing to make sure I get to the books that I want to read, but I keep avoiding because intimidating, or like it's not fantasy, so but I still want to read them all. So anyway, those are all the books. Let me know if you read any of them and your thoughts on them. I'd like to know. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in another video. Bye!